Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to you. I am here with Linda. We are going to chat just for a little while about Silver Made Simple. I'm just bringing up the video in front of me here so I can see if you guys are asking questions. Whoops, I just took a screenshot. Crying out loud. Here we go. Oh, man. All right. So you guys, just so you know, the reason that I do these in the first place is so you don't ever have to take my word for it. I don't want you to have to take my word for it. I want for you to see what it's doing for other people. Yeah, I tell you what it's about from time to time, but I want you to see from other people what it's actually doing for them. And then you can make your decision based on that. Like, is she like me? Then, like that would be you talking. Is she like me? And then is that something that I can do as well? Those are like the two things that I want you to be able to connect here. If they connect for you, and if not, no big deal. So let's go ahead and get into it, Linda. So first of all, how long have you been with Young Living?
I've been with Young Living using the product since 2014. I did not start off sharing the business. In fact, I said no to the business. And then, of course, you fall in love with the products and people ask you questions and you share. So I probably started casually sharing in about 2017, maybe. In the past year and a half or so, I've been looking to do things that are more intentional and just trying to figure out what I can do with Young Living and what it means for my family beyond just the products.
Yeah. So do you mind sharing just a little bit of like some of the things that you had tried in the past, just out of curiosity?
So I think I've read all the books. I've watched all the things and, everything from, Lindsay Teague Marino to, I know there was a group called, one of the things I loved listening to, a Facebook group, I don't know if it's still active or not, was like 12 Days of Diamonds.
Yeah.
It was very inspiring. And I had the vision, I just didn't know how to get from where I was to where I wanted to be.
Right.
A lot of it was general and a lot of it worked for other people, but I'm a homeschool mom. I run a nonprofit. My husband's a cop, so as you can imagine, things are crazy. And I needed something, and there's a lot about hustle, and I love, I saw Lindsay Teague Marino speak, and and her choices are amazing, and it worked for her, but it wasn't something that I could do.
Yeah.
And didn't fit. And so, teach a class here, and then I would drop the ball there, and then I would do a vendor event here, and then I'd drop the ball there. And that's kind of the path that I felt on. And I'm an executive. And I've been executive for 2 years. So Silverbound was great for me because I'm like, oh, I can reset and go for it. Cause I was running out of my time on the Rising Star bonus.
Yeah.
So I know back in December, I know this was SMS, but I guess it was January, I saw an interview that you had done with Grow Workspace. And I was like, that's what I want. That's who I want to hear. Like, because I resonated with a lot of just the way that, you spoke and that you aren't willing to give up everything else in your life to do this right now.
Yeah.
Because it's not, real for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's such a, whenever you think of, when you go 30,000 feet and you look at your life 3 years from now and like the perfect life and, your Royal Crown Diamond and you're doing all this stuff, does it require working all day long, or are you like hanging out with your family and relaxing? Right. Because a lot of people's vision of making it or succeeding or what they want their life to look like, and there's nothing right or wrong about any of that, but what they want their life to look like is going to be more laid back than probably what it is currently.
Well, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, the big thing that I came across, at least with where I was at, was the why. Everything was talking about your why. And my why is my family. My husband's been on the streets for 20 years as a cop. I don't want that for him continually. But if my why is my family, why am I going to sacrifice my family in order to do something for my family?
Right.
And that's something that I struggled with a lot. And I would have, good momentum. I'd burn myself out and then I'd jet back. And I'd have like 2 months a year that I was just like doing it great. Normally like March and November. Those are times like, you got to get ready. You got to go do it. But I wasn't consistent. And that's for me. And I knew I wasn't consistent, but I didn't know how to be consistent. And
Yeah.
that's what I think the SMS really did for me, was help me figure out how to be consistent and how to feel like, okay, I've done enough for today that I can get up from the desk and go make my kids lunch, or, do a
Seriously.
math book. I don't know what lately.
Right? It's just gotten topsy-turvy world lately. But that's, you guys, like that's the name of the game, you guys. I build my business, in my Young Living business, in 2 hours or less a day. And that's the checklist that you guys get in SMS is to build in 2 hours or less a day, because anything beyond that, in my opinion, anything beyond that is not sustainable to the human spirit, period. If you have to keep working past that, you're gonna hurtle into a point of what is called diminishing returns, where you continue working, but the returns you get from that work are going to be less and less and less. And then why are you even working so hard? So like the list that you get, like, has anybody sat there staring at the wall like, what am I supposed to do? And right, you're like, I don't know, me. If you've sat there wondering what you're supposed to do, or you look at other people's social media posts and you're like, okay, I'll do that. I see that got a lot of traction, right? You're seeing the top of the iceberg. You're not seeing what's actually happening below, if that's even growing their business at all. All you see that is a bunch of people rah-rahing it. That's really all that you're seeing, just so you guys know. But regardless of that, if all that you need is direction, if all that you need is something to check off, to, like Linda said, at the end of the list, once you've checked everything off, you're done. There's nothing else to do. You don't need to sit there and think like, okay, I feel like I should be doing more. I don't know. I'm supposed to hustle, I think, right? Like, I think I should be doing more. I should be like all of these things. And you don't need to. You're done with the list. You're done, y'all.
And I think another big thing for me was hearing you talk about, the way you build your business. Is I had done it the Sarah Harnish way. I had done the classes. I had done that, and it was great for me, but I felt like I had plateaued and that I wasn't growing anymore. And I have 2 teenagers who, my number one job is taxi mom. So I needed those Friday and Saturday nights just became a not time that I wanted to be doing business. That's a time that I wanted to be there for my kids. And with Silver Made Simple, with the checklist, I'm looking at the time, the constraint amount of time that I can schedule in. I personally try to do an hour or so in the morning, and then do a follow-up, loose ends, whatever, in the afternoon, whatever I didn't get to, or if I required a video that I didn't look like I do in the morning.
Yeah.
But it allows me to like grow my business, grow my connections, grow myself, as well as support my builders, support my customers, and support my friends. And I think, Martha, you've said it before, and I don't even know where, but that it helps, using the systems and just reaching out and connecting with people makes you a better person, not just a better, because, it is relationship building. So it's going to go far beyond just, building your business. It just, it crosses those boundaries.
Absolutely.
And I love that, my issue in the past was like, oh, I'd have this great idea as an ideas person, and I would plan things out, but then would come time to pull the trigger, I'd be like, oh, I didn't do this. Or if I did pull the trigger later on, the follow-up piece was missing. Where, in the past, if you're doing, samples or, a video, the follow-up is built into the Silver Made Simple. And that alone is worth its weight, just to have an ability for that follow-up, to execute and follow up, because, they say the fortune's in the follow-up.
Yes. 100%.
And I can't tell you how many times I've sent out samples or something. And I'm not, to my knowledge, I'm sitting here thinking, like, I literally think this month was the first time that I ever have enrolled someone based on a sample that I sent, because I never follow it up.
Oh, wow.
Because by the time the follow-up time came around, I was burnt out and I checked out, and, I rationalized it because, like, oh, my family needs me. Oh, we have to do this. Or, oh, it's time to do this. I did that. But those loose ends would be there. And I think that the Silver Made system allows it to be consistent, allows me to be accountable, and have all those pieces in place.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And there's also another piece to it that, like, so far as those of us moms that really just want to we just want to be here for our family, right? Like, we don't want to miss these years. You don't want to blink and then all of a sudden they're 5 years older, and
Yeah,
you're
and
like,
I'm
what
seeing
have
at
I
5
done?
years from now, I have a 15-year-old. She's not going to be here in 5 years, potentially. My
Right.
13-year-old may not be here in 5 years. So,
Uh,
hustling for 4 or 5 years to hit that career isn't going to do me any good.
No. And it's so much easier. It's so painful to tell your kids, first of all, as a mom, it's so painful to tell your kids, okay, I'm doing something. I'll be with you in a second, because all you just see snapshots of yourself doing it over and over. I'll be with you in a minute. I'll be with you in a minute. I'll be with you in a minute. And when you're hustling and
Yeah.
when you never stop working, that never stops. Okay. But when you work 2 hours a day,
Hmm.
or less, whatever.
Right.
But you know that there is, and you can even tell your kids, like, listen, I'm only going to work 2 hours a day. I'm going to work an hour here and I'm going to work an hour here. I need, like, let's be a team here. I
Right.
need for you to understand I'm going to do this, but then the rest of the time I'm here. I'm here with you. So like it gives them an expectation too.
Absolutely. Because in the past, it was, we're doing, I homeschool. So we're doing school and I'm like this. And I was like, Mom, like in a minute, it's the constant juggling and the back and forth where now it's like,
Yes.
because of, COVID, because of the way life is right now, that first hour that I'm doing it because I have teenagers, they're not even, vertical. They're still out in their bed. So that's like my chunk of time. And then I can just follow up in the afternoon when they're out, doing their chores or taking care of the rabbits or the dogs or whatever they have to do.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love rabbits. So that's awesome. Awesome. Well, what would you say to somebody that's on the fence? That's just like, I don't know if this is really going to be helpful. Is this just going to be another one of those IPA things? Because a lot of people sell IPAs and stuff.
They
But
do. I've bought them, used them, tried to use them. I would say do it because, Nike, just do it, right? Here's the thing. It's an investment that you're not going to regret. And here's the thing, like, I know my past behavior has been that I run in cycles, like we talked about before. I don't see myself doing this. Like, we've had some personal issues in the past 2 weeks, but I've been able to still maintain that list of daily dues. I've not done my Facebook stuff, but I've still done my daily dues because it's become a habit, that morning that I can knock out before everybody is vertical.
oh,
And
that's
when I
cool.
don't, like, I realize it and I feel it. But it's going to be there. I can jump back in. I can
Yeah.
go back in and pick up, where I left off. It's not a problem. Um, and I think if anyone feels, and this is the way I felt and some of my girls feel, is that consistency is what's lacking. It's not the big one day work day blitz. It's not the the hustle. If that's not where you are in life. I mean, I think if I had to do it over and I didn't have kids that I was caring for and I could hustle, I would totally do that. But that's just not a choice that I can currently make for my family. If you're looking for something sustainable, something consistent that you can fit into your life, then that's what I think this is. I think it's what I've been missing. I've got, we, how you talk about, Facebook lists. I'm like, I've actually reached out to like over 90% of my Facebook friends now, which is something that like was always it's the bite-sized pieces, I guess is what I'm trying at. The way you make the checklist,
Yeah.
it's not trying to do a big thing, just little bite, little bite, little bite, little bite, and you eat the whole elephant.
Yeah. And you wouldn't believe the amount of traction that you get just by doing these little things every day, you guys. It doesn't take much time. It's just being intentional with what you're sharing. And you don't have to worry about doing that because I tell you, like, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's what we're going to focus on right now. And I tell you, like, legit, do something like this. And then you can even look at my own page to see like what I did, on your own. But cool. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your family, Linda. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon-ish little
Well,
bit.
thank you for all that you've together and that you shared for all of Team Young Living.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I love this. This is my lane. All right. Well, everybody, you have an awesome day. Linda, you have a great day. And thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.